I was urging in English, like please, I'm begging you. I was urging the White House not to go to Iraq. I was urging the White House not to go to Iraq. I go to Trump right now, and I was urging the White House not to go to Iraq. Huh? The point here is, I understand you, such person, when he before going to Iraq, even here in England, the 10 and they say, sorry, the decision is made. There would be troops going to Iraq, and the invasion took place, and they brought disaster, unbelievable crime, unlegitimate, against the United Nations, horrible bloodshed. These demons who worship the devil, who legitimize their war. One, that's why Trump is nice in comparison. Though, look what he did to the Holy Land. He made it the capital. Now that's maybe, this is a result to invading Iraq. If there was no invading to Iraq, he wouldn't reach such a decision. I mean, it doesn't work, but anyway, we're all working together. في قلوبهم شتى. They are different, but against the word of God and the path to heaven, they are all unite. Okay, when there is a need, you choose, they will unite. But I was urging the White House not to go to Iraq. Let's say Trump, President Trump. And it's a disaster. What they did in the Middle East is a disaster. And they should be in trial. This filth Bush Jr., all those who work with him, in relation to the so-called Israeli state. The man is causing trouble. Saddam Hussein, we get rid of him. Criminals, look at the filth, Kissinger. Let's return back to such person who would say, see, I have a lot of enemies. YouTube, don't be one of my enemies. Okay? Don't be one of my enemies. YouTube is an independent media. Such person, I understand you. The power of the West was not created by those who made the decision to go to Iraq. You are part of creating the history of the West. You are part of creating this glory of the United States of America, this greatness, this power, name it whatever you want. And then this fucking filthy so-called elite, with all of their agenda and interest, they didn't create the greatness of the United States of America and the West. Yet, they make a decision, and they legitimize this invasion to Iraq, either politically or religiously, by the religion and faith, and cause all of this crime. From here, you have the right to question them. You have the right, if you can, to make their life hell. You have the right to put them in death row, if you can. Because who gave you the right? You are not even in the level of Abraham Lincoln, who would be against 100% going to Iraq. Washington and others. Or the father establisher of, and England as well. Talking about those who created secularism, those who had a say in the conservative or the Labour Party itself, Labour. And then you have this authority, regardless. Is this going to make a difference, Conservative or Labour? No. But I'm not going to go to the kings of England who helped in the crusade. That shite and hellfire, I'm not talking about. I'm talking about the one who created, after the United Nations, independence, the borders, those who fought against the Nazis, though the Nazis are called Zionists, but regardless, those who called for. And yet, you bring all of these lies, and you sign a decision, and you lie, mass destruction. And you go to Iraq. Such person would say, Afghanistan, okay, we can have a discussion about going to Afghanistan, and we might understand going to Afghanistan, though I'm not going to talk about Bin Laden, Taliban, how it's Soviet Union occupying the Holy Land, and other many things. No creator can. But Iraq, you went there and you killed a man. Do you think it's an easy job? And you brought that shite Eastern Shrogia, who got nothing to do with Iraq. Someone have nothing to do, for example, with a certain area. He go there and he caused trouble, and he would be persecuted because he's an intruder in a country that the natives there did not create any trouble to him. They go and they complain in the West, and then you brought them and you grant them Iraq, and you create all of this massacres and problem. There is people who are living free right now here in the West who should be in jails. One of them is Bush Jr. Shut up, Anthony Blair. Shut up. Shut up. The war in Iraq created problems. It created a lot of issues. I was affected negatively in a horrible way. Since 9/11, the inside job, since 2003, war in Iraq, until I escaped from the fucking incubation there, and even after. Excuse me, it's because of the wind. The rain is there. I'm fine with the rain. الله المستعان. ايش بقى كده. يا الله الله يلعنكم يدمركم. Don't think if someone attacked me I'll deal with them. Oh yeah. Comes and goes, not a big deal. It's 2003, 23. It happened in 2003. It happened in 2013. Now 2023. It's harder. If Allah give me, if Allah grant me time, what will happen to me at 2023? Anyway, so my life was affected. So if you are a Western person, and you say, and you're one of those, like this gentleman, I urged the White House not to go to Iraq. I urged them. Urge means begging, and asking and calling. I urge the White House not to go to Iraq, but they go there. You have the right, if you can, to persecute them, because you're part of the America, you're part of the West. Who gave them the right to send the troops there? Iraq. I'm talking about Iraq. An elite who control the resources and the power of a nation and bring disaster to the nation. It's not enough. The loans, the depth, the problem, they brought additional economy. And then they played with the economy and they pushed a lot of money. I mean, you go to these filthy guys, called them Jews, to the economy, so that the economy would be perfect. People wouldn't complain from Iraq. The war is good to the economy. So many will keep their mouth shut because they have no consciousness. This is all corruption. corruption. I'm explaining the truth here, in addition to this truth. By the way, this problem is spiritual. It's not material. Oh, there is a side of it, yeah. It is more spiritual there. Because it shouldn't, but the rain, see the rain stopped. I'm gonna open the window later, because the rain go inside. So the point I'm trying to say, that's part of my personal case with those who created problem. Look at the the so-called, the Iran, those who call themselves Shia. Look what they did to us. Look how they become rude. Do you know the term? Rude. Very rude. I have dealt with them in GIC, dealt with them in SABIC, dealt with them in the Eastern Province, dealt in the media, dealt with those in opposition. Rude. Horribly rude. Criminal. Rude. Demon. Rude. You urge the White House not to go. I urge you, if you can, either we are in the same picture, paper or not. If you can urge your kind, fuck them. They shouldn't be called human. They didn't come from human right. No. The crime that was committed by the intruders to the natives of Iraq, the illegitimate, unacceptable, was far worse than the crimes that poor Saddam committed against the intruders. Good night.